Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Debbie with Evolve Global 22's Healing Light Studio. Feel better daily. And it's a new week and a new beginning. So let's get started. Again, welcome. I'm so glad that you are all here. If you are in your 20s right now, I need you to stop scrolling and watch this. This video could literally save you years of struggle, years of confusion, and years of your body trying to get your attention in ways that are not fun. And if you are already in your 40s, girl, this is going to explain so much of what you've been feeling. So stay with me because we are about to get into something really important. Here is the truth that nobody told us. Your 40s is not built in your 40s. They are built in your 20s, quietly, slowly, every single day. And most of us, myself included, did not know that until we were already in the middle of wondering what happened to our bodies. So today we are kicking off a brand new 4-part series, and I'm so excited about this one. It is called Wellness After 40, What Your 20s Self Needed to Hear. And episode 1, we are starting with the foundation, what actually changes after 40, why it happens, and what your younger self needed to know before she got here. So let's get right into this. So let's just start with what is actually going on in your body after 40, because I think a lot of women feel like something is wrong with them, like they are broken, like their body just turned on them overnight. I know I felt that way at one point. And I want you to hear me on this. Your body did not turn on you. It has been communicating with you for years. We just did not have the language to understand what it was saying. So here is what's happening. First, your hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and yes, ladies, we have testosterone too. They are all on the decline. And those hormones were doing so much more than we realized. They were running our mood, our sleep, our metabolism, our energy, our skin, our bone density, and our ability to bounce back from stress. When they start to shift, you feel it everywhere, not just in your cycle, but everywhere. Second, your metabolism slows down. And before you blame yourself, this is not about willpower or laziness. It happens because muscle mass naturally starts to decline, and muscle is what drives your metabolism. Less muscle equals a slow metabolic rate, period. Third, your gut microbiome changes. The diversity of bacteria in your gut shifts with age. And if you were not feeding it well in your 20s or 30s, you are going to feel that in your digestion, your immunity, your mood, and your energy levels. Fourth, your sleep changes. You spend less time in deep restorative sleep. So even when you get 8 hours, you can wake up feeling like you only got 4. Does that sound familiar? And fifth, recovery takes longer. What used to take your body 1 day to bounce back from now takes 3. And that is not in your head. And sixth, inflammation. If it has been building for years, it starts to show up loud after 40. Joint pain, brain fog, the heavy, worn down feeling that you just can't shake. Now, here is really what you need to hear. None of this is punishment. Your body is not betraying you. It is doing exactly what a body does after running hard for 4 decades. The real question, my friends, is what did those 4 decades look like? So, this is where it gets real. And I say this with so much love. Most of what you are feeling at 40 started building in your 20s and 30s, silently, without symptoms, without any warning signs you would have recognized at the time. Let me give you some specifics. Your bone density peaks at around age 30. That means the actual window to build strong, dense, resilient bones is in your teens and your 20s. After 30, you are maintaining at best. You are not building anymore. Collagen, the protein that keeps your skin firm, your joints cushioned, and your gut lining healthy, starts to decline in your mid 20s. Your mid 20s at about 1% per year after that. Chronic stress in your 20s, and I know we all had it, floods your body with cortisol. And when cortisol runs high for too long, it disrupts your hormones, damages your gut lining, increases inflammation, and literally accelerates aging at the cellular level. Those late nights, those all-nighters, the whole I'll sleep when I'm dead energy that a lot of us had in our 20s, that was training our nervous system to run on empty. And our nervous system remembered every single night. Next, diet culture. And oh, this is one big one. The restricting, the yo-yo dieting, the obsession with being as small as possible. That was damaging our metabolisms, our relationship with food, and our hormonal health in ways that are showing up decades later. And nobody told us that at the time. And then there is the emotional piece, the toxic relationships we stayed in too long, the grief we never processed, the anxiety we pushed through and called hustle, the trauma we buried because we did not have the tools or the support to deal with it. All of that, all of it is stored in the body. The body keeps perfect record. So when a woman arrives at 40 feeling depleted and exhausted and inflamed, and like she does not recognize herself anymore, she is not falling apart at 40. She's been running on empty since her 20s, and her body is finally saying, enough. I need you to pay attention to me. Now I want to get really personal for a second. If someone had sat me down in my 20s and told me everything I just told you, my life would look different. That's a fact. Now, I'm not regretful. Everything brought me to where I am now, but it is a simple, factual truth. My health would have looked different at different phases in my life, and my body would feel different. I would have taken my sleep seriously instead of wearing my exhaustion like it was a badge of honor. I would have gone to therapy earlier, not waited until I was in full crisis mode to finally ask for help. I would have had coaches much easier and all of my teachers and mentors along the way. I would have stopped dieting and started actually nourishing my body. Today, I don't even use the word diet. Dieting, toss it out, get rid of that thought. I would have lifted weights and built muscle instead of spending all of my time trying to be smaller, thinner. I would have managed my stress instead of just surviving it and calling that strength. I would have paid attention to my cycle, tracked it, understood it, treated it like the health report card it actually is, instead of just tolerating the pain and the irregularity and thinking it was just life. And I would have understood, truly understood, that taking care of my health was not selfish. It was not vain. It was the most responsible, most loving thing I could do for my future self and for everyone who depends on me. But here is the grace, and I want you to hold on to this. Whether you are 22 or 42 right now, you are not too late. You can not go back, but you can start right now. And starting right now will always, always be better than not starting at all. So, okay, so let's make this actionable because I don't want you to leave here just feeling motivated. I want you to leave here with a plan. Here is what I want every woman, whether you're 20 or you're 40, to start doing right now. Number one, prioritize your sleep. 7 to 9 hours is not luxury. It's a biological requirement. Your hormones, your brain, your metabolism, your emotional health, they all depend on quality sleep. This is a non-negotiable. Number two, get your blood work done annually. Know your baseline, Know your vitamin D levels, your thyroid function, your hormone levels, your iron, your blood sugar. Do not wait until something goes wrong to find out what has been going on inside your body. Be proactive. Advocate for yourself at every single doctor's appointment. Number 3, move your body for health, not punishment. Find movement that you actually enjoy. Walk, dance, lift weights, stretch, do yoga, whatever it is. Do it because you love your body, not because you hate it. Not to be smaller, to be stronger, to be more resilient, to feel good in the body you are living in right now. Number 4, eat whole foods consistently, not perfectly. I'm not asking for perfect, but consistently. Your gut, your hormones, your skin, and your brain are literally built from what you eat. Feed them well most of the time and give yourself grace the rest of the time. Number 5, start managing your stress now, not when you hit burnout, not when your body forces you to stop. Now, find your tools and use them. Breath work, journaling, therapy, coach support, prayer, boundaries, rest, whatever works for you. Build it into your life before you desperately need it. And if you are already in your 40s and this list feels overwhelming, please hear me. Start with one, just one. Pick the one that feels most urgent and begin there. Because your body is remarkably resilient. It wants to heal. It is always reaching toward health the moment you give it what it needs. Okay, we are just getting started with this series, and I am genuinely excited for what is coming. Tomorrow, in episode 2, we are going deep into hormones, gut health, and inflammation. And we are talking about why so much of what you are feeling right now started silently in your 20s, long before you had a single symptom. The episode is going to open your eyes. You don't want to miss it. If this episode spoke to you today, share it. Share it with a woman in her 20s who needs to hear this. Share it with your daughter, your niece, your younger sister, your best friend. Your younger self would have wanted someone to share it with her. Subscribe if you have not already. Hit the notification bell so you are notified the moment episode 2 drops. And leave a comment. I want to know, what do you wish you had known in your 20s? What would you have changed? I read every single comment and I would love to hear from you. And now, before you go, if this resonated with you and you are tired of trying everything and still not feeling like yourself, I want you to know there's a place for you. Come join me over on Patreon at Feel Better Daily. It is where I share daily habits, early releases of these live streams, daily habits for real energy, honest conversations about healing, natural tools I personally use, and simple ways to build life that actually feels good. No overwhelm, no perfection, just real talk and what actually works. The link is right below and in the description and in the first comment. I would love to see you there. And real quick, just one more thing I want to share, actually 2 things that are a part of my personal wellness routine every single day because I get asked about this all the time. My first is my Agara Cafe functional coffee. The ingredients are clean and they are actually doing something. It supports metabolism, mood, energy, and weight management. And it has honestly become a part of my wellness medicine cabinet. I do not need a shelf full of supplements because this is doing so much of the work for me. My personal results have been more stable mood and energy, better pain management, and a metabolism that is actually working with me again, not just coffee, a wellness tool. And the second thing I want to share is my doTERRA essential oils. I do not use these as a trend. I use them as a real part of how I support my whole health system, physical, mental, and emotional. They are part of how I manage stress, support my body, and stay grounded every single day. All of the links are in the description and in the first comment. And on that note, my friends, take care of your body. It's the only one you have, and it deserves every bit of attention and love you give to everyone else. I will see you tomorrow in our circle. Peace, love, and light. I love you all. Hello, everybody. It is Dr. Debbie with Evolve Global 22. It's Healing Light Studio. This is our Healing Circle, Feel Better Daily. Welcome, everybody. If you are just finding this series for the first time, go back to watch episode 1. It sets the foundation for everything we are covering today. And trust me, you're going to want that context. But if you are back for episode 2, I'm so glad that you are here, because today we are going somewhere that I think is going to genuinely change how you understand your body. We're talking about hormones, gut health, and inflammation, the silent shifts starting in your 20s that nobody warned us about. So let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like your body just stopped cooperating with you? Like you are doing everything you're supposed to do, and yet you are still bloated, still exhausted, still moody, still gaining weight around your middle, still waking up at 3 a.m. for no reason, still feeling like a stranger in your own skin, and nobody can really explain it to you in a way that makes sense. Here is what I want you to know today. There is an explanation, and it starts way earlier than you think. What you are feeling right now in your 40s, the hormonal chaos, the gut issues, the inflammation, the fatigue, that did not start at 40. It started in your 20s. And this is why this episode or this series is so important, even for whether you're 20, 30, or 40. Quietly, things started without any symptoms, without anyone warning you. And today we are going to talk about all of it: hormones, gut health, inflammation, what is happening now, why it started then, and what every woman in her 20s absolutely needs to know before she gets here. This is episode 2 again of Wellness After 40, what your 20s self needed to hear. So let's get into this. So let's start with hormones, because this is where I see the most confusion and the most frustration in women. Most of us were taught that hormones are a 40s problem, maybe a 50s problem, something that happens when menopause shows up and suddenly everything goes haywire. But that is not how it works. That is not how any of this works. Hormonal shifts begin in your late 20s. They accelerate through your 30s, and that by the time you hit 40, your body has already been in a slow hormonal transition for over a decade. Let me break down the key players. Estrogen. This is your master hormone. And what I want you to understand is how much little tired here. And I want you to understand how much it does when most women think estrogen is just about reproduction. It is not. Estrogen regulates your mood, your sleep, your skin, your bone density, your cardiovascular health, your memory, your libido, your ability to recover from stress. Excuse me. When estrogen starts to decline, even just a little, you feel it everywhere, not just in your cycle, everywhere. The next one is progesterone. This is your calming hormone. You feel good, sleep well, stay calm hormone. And here is something that surprises a lot of women. Progesterone often starts declining before estrogen does. So before you even notice estrogen changes, you may already be experiencing low progesterone symptoms: anxiety that seems to come out of nowhere, poor sleep, mood instability, heavier or more irregular periods. That wired but exhausted feeling that no amount of rest seems to fix. The next one is cortisol. Now, this one This is the one that does the most damage in your 20s and 30s without you even realizing it. Cortisol is your stress hormone. And every time you are chronically stressed, undersleeping, overexercised, undereating, running on adrenaline, people pleasing, overwhelmed, burned out, cortisol floods the system. And here is the problem: cortisol competes with other hormones. It literally steals the building blocks your body needs to make progesterone and estrogen. It disrupts your thyroid, it spikes your blood sugar, it promotes fat storage. And over years and years of chronic elevation, it creates a hormonal environment that feels completely out of control by the time you hit 40. The next one is insulin. This is the hormone that regulates your blood sugar. And when your diet in your 20s is full of ultra processed foods, refined sugar, skipped meals, and irregular eating, your cells start to become resistant to insulin. Insulin resistance is one of the driving forces behind weight gain that won't budge energy crashes, hormonal imbalance, PCOS, and chronic inflammation. And it builds slowly over years before most women even know it is happening. Next is testosterone. Yes, we need to talk about this one too. Women need testosterone. It supports your energy, your confidence, your muscle mass, your libido, and your cognitive function. And it starts declining steadily after your mid 20s. So by 40, if nobody has ever checked your testosterone levels, and most doctors don't, you may have been running low for years without knowing it. So, what does this all mean? It means that by 40, if none of this was being understood or managed, or even in your radar in your 20s, you arrive at midlife with a hormonal system that has been running on fumes for a very long time. And you wonder why you feel the way you feel. I want to ask you something, and I really want you to think about this. In your 20s, did you feel like you needed caffeine just to function? And if you're 20 right now, do you feel this way? Did you crash every afternoon? Did you get sick often? Did you have painful or irregular periods that your doctor just told you were normal? Did you feel anxious without a clear reason? Did you have skin breakouts that never fully went away? Did you feel exhausted even after a full night's sleep? Those were not just normal 20-something struggles. Those were signals, early warning signs of hormonal imbalance, gut dysfunction, and inflammation that were already beginning to build beneath the surface. But we normalized all of it. We called it stress. We called it being young and busy. We called it just the way things are for women. We were not taught to listen to our bodies. We were taught to push through, to show up, to keep going no matter what. And our bodies kept sending the signals, and we kept ignoring them until 40, when the signals become impossible to ignore. Now let's talk about gut health, because this is where many women are completely blindsided. I know I was. And once you understand this, it is going to change how you think about almost every symptom you have ever experienced. Your gut is not just a digestive organ. Your gut is the foundation of almost everything happening in your body. Here are some facts that are going to blow your mind. Your gut produces approximately 90% of your serotonin, your feel-good neurotransmitter, that one that regulates your mood, your sleep, your appetite, and your sense of well-being. 90% of it comes from your gut, not your brain, your gut. Your gut houses approximately 70% of your immune system. So if you are getting sick often, if you have allergies, if you have autoimmune issues, your gut is deeply involved. Your gut communicates directly with your brain through what is called the gut-brain axis. It is a two-way superhighway of information, which is why when you are anxious, you feel it in your stomach. And, and why when your gut is inflamed, you feel it in your mood. And your gut plays a critical role in hormone metabolism, including how your body processes and eliminates excess estrogen. If your gut is not healthy, excess estrogen recirculates in the body instead of being eliminated. And estrogen dominance is behind so many of the symptoms women in their 40s struggle with: heavy periods, fibroids, mood swings, weight gain, breast tenderness, brain fog. So, what damages your gut in your 20s? A diet high in ultra processed foods and refined sugar, repeated courses of antibiotics without probiotic support to restore what was lost, chronic stress, which literally damages the lining of your gut, a condition called leaky gut or intestinal permeability, alcohol, which disrupts your microbiome diversity and inflames the gut's lining, hormonal birth control, which can significantly alter the balance of bacteria in your gut, and a low fiber diet, which starves the good bacteria your microbiome depends on to thrive. By the time many women are 40, they have a gut that has been under assault for 2 decades, and the symptoms they are living with, the bloating, the digestive issues, the food sensitivities, the fatigue, the mood instability, the skin problems, the immune dysfunction, are the direct result. This is not just about digestion. This is about everything, my friends. Now let's talk about inflammation, because I think the word gets thrown around a lot, but I want to make sure you truly understand what it is and why it matters so deeply for your long-term health. There are two kinds of inflammation. Acute inflammation is healthy. It is your body's natural response to injury or infection. You cut your finger, it swells, you get sick, you get a fever. This is your immune system doing exactly what it is supposed to do. Chronic inflammation, on the other hand, is completely different. Chronic inflammation is low grade, constant, silent. It runs in the background for years, sometimes decades, without obvious symptoms. You do not feel it the way you feel a fever. It is more like a slow fire burning beneath everything, slowly damaging tissue, slowly disrupting hormones, slowly aging your cells, slowly building toward a breaking point. And chronic inflammation is linked to heart disease, autoimmune conditions, type 2 diabetes, cancer, depression and anxiety, accelerated aging, hormonal disruption, cognitive decline, Alzheimer's disease. Almost every major chronic illness has chronic inflammation at its root, and it builds from the habits and environments of your 20s and 30s. Poor diet, chronic stress, poor sleep, environmental toxins in your food, your water, your personal care products, your home, a sedentary lifestyle, unresolved emotional trauma, gut dysfunction, smoking, excess alcohol, all of it feeds the fire. And by 40, my friends, if that fire has been burning for 15 or 20 years, it shows up as joint pain that seems to come from nowhere, brain fog that makes you feel like you're losing your mind, stubborn weight that does not respond to anything you try, skin issues that keeps flaring up, exhaustion that sleep does not fix, and a body that feels 20 years older than it should. You are not imagining it. You are experiencing the accumulated result of years of chronic inflammation that nobody warned you about. Okay, so here is where we make all of this actionable, because information without application is just interesting. I want this to change something for you. If you are in your 20s, this is your roadmap. This is what I wish someone had handed me. Number one, track your cycle. Your menstrual cycle is your monthly report card on your hormonal health. Learn what a healthy cycle looks like. Track your symptoms every month. Notice your patterns. If you are having painful periods, irregular cycles, extremely heavy bleeding, or mood changes that feel extreme, pursue answers. Do not let anyone tell you that this is just normal. It is common. It is not normal, and it is your body asking for help. Number 2, reduce chronic stress early. I know this sounds simple, my friends, but I need you to understand it biologically. Chronic stress is not just uncomfortable, it's hormonally destructive. It steals from your hormonal reserves. It damages your gut. It fuels inflammation. Start building stress management practices into your life right now, not when you burn out. Now, breath work, journaling, therapy, support system, rest, boundaries. Find your tools and use them before you desperately need them. Number 3, have an honest conversation about alcohol. I am not here to tell you what to do with your life, but I am here to tell you the truth. Alcohol disrupts your gut microbiome. It increases estrogen dominance. It damages your liver's ability to process and eliminate hormones. It disrupts your sleep architecture even when you think you are sleeping fine. It fuels inflammation. There is no amount of alcohol that supports your hormonal health. Be honest with yourself about what it is costing you. Number 4, eat for your gut. Diversity is the goal. Eat as wide a variety of whole plant foods as you possibly can. Different vegetables, different fruits, legumes, whole grains, nuts, seeds. Aim for 30 different plant foods per week if you can. That diversity feeds the diversity of bacteria in your gut. Limit sugar and ultra processed foods as much as possible, and consider a quality probiotic, especially after antibiotics or during periods of high stress. Number 5, reduce your exposure to hormonal disruptors. These are chemicals called endocrine disruptors found in plastics, pesticides, nonstick cookware, synthetic fragrances, conventional personal care products, and household cleaners. They mimic or block your hormones, and they are everywhere. Start reading labels. Choose glass or stainless steel over plastic, especially for food and water storage. Look for fragrance-free and cleaner personal care products. Filter your drinking water. These are not small changes. Over years and decades, they add up to significant hormonal protection. Number 6, and this is our last one, get a full hormonal panel done. Not just a basic checkup. Ask your doctor specifically for estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, cortisol, insulin, thyroid. Full thyroid panel, not just TSH. And vitamin D. Know your baseline while you are young. It gives you something to compare to as you move through your 30s and 40s. And it arms you with information for you to advocate for yourself. And if you are already in your 40s, please hear this. It is not too late. Your gut can be restored. Your hormones can be supported. Inflammation can be significantly reduced. Your body is not done healing. It takes time, consistency, and the right support. But it absolutely happens. I've seen it and I've lived it. Okay, now with that was all pretty heavy, so let's slow it down here a little bit. I could talk about this topic forever because it is just so important, and so many women have never been given this information. But here is what I want you to walk away with today. What you are feeling is real. It is a biological explanation, and it started earlier than you were ever told. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not overreacting. You are a woman whose body has been carrying more than it should have for longer than it should have, without the right tools, the right information, or the right support. And that, my friends, changes today. Tomorrow in episode 3, we are talking about bones, muscle, metabolism, and skin. And I promise you, some of what I'm going to share is going to completely change how you think about your body and what it needs, especially the information about when collagen actually starts declining and why your metabolism is not broken. It is just responding to what it has been through. You do not want to miss this one, my friends. Share this episode with every woman you love in her 20s or her 40s. This information belongs to all of us. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave me a comment. Tell me which part of today's episode hit you the hardest. Was it the hormones, the gut, the inflammation piece? Let me know. I read every single comment, and I will see you in episode 3. Now, before you go, quickly, guys, if this resonated with you and you are tired of trying everything and still not feeling yourself, I want you to know there is a place for you. Come join me in our Patreon at Feel Better Daily. It is where I share daily habits for real energy, honest conversations about healing, natural tools, and I personally use, and simple ways to build a life that actually feels good. Not overwhelmed, not perfection, just real talk and what actually works. The link is in the description and in the first comment. And last, I just want to mention Agaro Cafe, which is a functional coffee I use in my healing, health, and wellness medicine cabinet. And doTERRA essential oils is my proactive approach to supporting my entire system. You have all of the links, all of the information in the description and in the first comment. On that note, peace, love, and light to everybody. Take care of yourself, your whole self, body, gut, hormones, and all. I will see you tomorrow in the circle. Hello, everybody. It's Evolve Global 22's Healing Light Studio and our Healing Circle. Feel Better Daily. Welcome, everybody. It is already Wednesday, and we are talking about what your 20s are building that you'll live in at 40. Today is just filled with information that you will find extremely helpful. And it's not really talked about all that often. At least I didn't know it when I was in my 20s or 30s. And I am sharing it with you. So if you've been following this series, you already know that we have covered some really important ground. In episode 1, we talked about what actually changes after 40 and why it starts building in your 20s. In episode 2, we went deep into hormones, gut health, and inflammation, and why so much of what you feel right now started silently years before you had a single symptom. If you missed either of those episodes, go back and watch them. They are the foundation for everything we are building in this series. But today we are getting into something that I think is going to hit different for a lot of you. Because today we are talking about the physical structure of your body, your bones, your muscles, your metabolism, and your skin. And here is what I need you to understand before we even get started. Your body at 40 is not a mystery. It is a result. It is the direct result of everything you ate, everything you did or did not do, every night you slept or did not sleep, every period of stress you pushed through, and every choice, big or small, that you made in your 20s and 30s. And I know that can feel heavy if you are already in your 40s, but I need you to stay with me because understanding this is not about guilt. It is not about regret. It is about power. because once you understand what happened and why, you can make different choices starting right now. This is episode 3 of Wellness After 40, what your 20s self needed to hear. And this one is going to open some eyes. So let's go. Let's start with bones. And I want to start here because this is the one that genuinely shocks people when they hear it. Your bones reach their peak density at around age 30. That is it. That is the window. Your childhood, your teens, and your 20s are the time your body is actively building bone mass. And after 30, you are in maintenance mode at best. And after 40, especially for women, as estrogen begins to decline, bone loss accelerates. Now, I know bones might not feel like the most exciting topic, but hear me out, because this matters more than most women realize until it's already a problem. Osteoporosis, the thinning and weakening of bones, is something that just appears suddenly, is not something, long day, that just appears suddenly in old age. It is built over decades through insufficient calcium, insufficient vitamin D, insufficient weight-bearing exercise, and hormonal imbalance that began long before anyone thought to check. 1 in 2 women over 50 will experience an osteoporosis-related fracture in their lifetime. 1 in 2. That is not a rare condition. That is an epidemic. And it is almost entirely preventable when you have the right information early enough. So, what damages bone density in your 20s? Restrictive dieting and chronically low caloric intake. When you are not eating enough, your body pulls calcium from your bones to maintain other critical functions. Yo-yo dieting does the same thing. High caffeine consumption. Large amounts of caffeine interfere with calcium absorption. So if you were living on coffee in your 20s, and honestly, who wasn't, that was affecting your calcium levels more than you knew. Next, excess alcohol. Alcohol interferes with the body's ability to absorb calcium and vitamin D, and it directly inhibits the bone-building cells called osteoblasts. Low vitamin D levels. Vitamin D is essential for calcium absorption, and deficiency is extraordinarily common, especially in women of color, women who work indoors, and women who live in northern climates. You can be eating all the calcium in the world, and if your vitamin D is low, your body cannot use it effectively. Next, hormonal imbalances, particularly low estrogen. And this can happen in your 20s, not just at menopause. Women who lose their period from undereating or overexercising, a condition called hypothalamic amenorrhea, I hope I pronounced that right, are losing estrogen at a time when they should be building their peak bone mass. And the bone loss that happens during that time is very difficult to recover. And a sedentary lifestyle is a problem. Bones respond to mechanical load. Weight-bearing exercise, walking, running, strength training signals your body to build and maintain bone density. If you were not doing that consistently in your 20s, your bones did not get that signal. And here's the thing, my friends, about all of this that makes it so dangerous. You cannot feel bone loss. There are no symptoms, no pain, no warning signs until a bone breaks or a scan reveals what has been happening silently for years. This is why building bone density in your 20s is one of the most important investments you will ever make, and why starting to protect it in your 40s while you still can is one of the most important things you can do right now. Okay, so now let's talk about muscle. And I really want you to pay attention here because there is such confusion and so much bad advice around this topic, especially for women. Muscle is not just about how you look. Muscle is your body's metabolic currency. It is one of the most important assets your body has for long-term health and function. And most women in their 20s were never told that. Here is what you need to know. After the age of 30, and this accelerates significantly after 40, Women lose approximately 3 to 8% of their muscle mass per decade if they are not actively working to maintain it. This is called sarcopenia, and it is one of the leading contributors to everything that goes wrong with a woman's body in midlife and beyond. Slower metabolism is another issue because muscle burns calories at rest, and less muscle means a slower metabolic rate. So it lowers your metabolism. Insulin resistance, because muscle is one of the primary sites where your body uses glucose, less muscle means less efficient blood sugar regulation. Poor imbalance and increased injury risk, because muscle stabilizes your joints and supports your movement patterns. As muscle decline falls and as injuries become more common. Loss of bone density, because muscle literally pulls on bone when it contracts, and that mechanical stress is one of the signals that tells your bones to stay strong. And loss of independence as you age, because the strength you build and maintain now is what determines how mobile, capable, and functional you are in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. Now, here is what frustrates me about the advice women were given in their 20s. We were told to do cardio, hours of cardio, run on the treadmill, take the low impact classes, burn as many calories as possible. We were told to eat as little as possible, count calories, restrict, be small. And we were told that lifting weights would make us bulky. That is for men. That was not feminine. Every single piece of that advice was wrong. What women needed in their 20s, what you needed in your 20s was to lift weights consistently and progressively, to eat enough food, especially enough protein, to support muscle growth and repair, and to understand that being strong was one of the most powerful health investments you could make in yourself. Because the muscle you build in your 20s is the muscle that carries you through your 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. The good news is, this is really good news actually, is that muscle is one of the most responsive tissues in your body at any age. Women in their 60s and 70s who start strength training show significant gains in muscle mass and strength. It is never too late to start, but the earlier you start, the better the foundation you build. Now let's talk about metabolism, because this is a topic that comes with so much shame and so much misinformation, and I want to clear it all up right now. Your metabolism does slow with age. That part is true. But the slowdown is far less dramatic than most people believe, and it is far more influenced by your lifestyle and your history than your age alone. So let me tell you what actually slows your metabolism, because I want you to understand this clearly. The number one driver is loss of muscle mass, which we just talked about. Less muscle equals fewer calories burned at rest. It's that simple. And it is the most significant age-related metabolic change there is. The second driver is chronic undereating. And this one is huge for women. When you restrict your calories significantly, for extended periods, as so many of us did throughout our 20s trying to be smaller, your body adapts. It literally learns to function on fewer calories by down-regulating your metabolic rate. It slows everything down to match what you are giving it. And that adaptation can persist for years, even decades, after you stop restricting. This is called metabolic adaptation. And it is the reason why so many women in their 40s feel like no matter what they do, they cannot lose weight or maintain their energy. The third driver is chronic stress and elevated cortisol. Cortisol promotes fat storage, particularly around the abdomen, and it breaks down muscle tissue, both of which directly slow your metabolism. The fourth driver is poor sleep. Sleep deprivation disrupts the hormones that regulate your hunger and your satiety. Ghrelin and leptin. When these hormones are dysregulated, they feel hungrier. You feel less satisfied by food. Your cravings for sugar and processed foods increase, and your body is more inclined to store fat rather than burn it. The fifth driver is thyroid dysfunction. Your thyroid is the master regulator of your metabolism, my friends. Every cell in your body has thyroid hormone receptors. When your thyroid is underperforming, which is called hypothyroidism and is extraordinarily common in women, your metabolism slows significantly. You gain weight, you feel exhausted, you feel cold, you lose hair, you feel depressed, and this often goes undiagnosed or undertreated for years because doctors only test TSH and call it normal, when the full picture tells a very different story. And the sixth driver is insulin resistance. When your cells stop responding efficiently to insulin, your body produces more and more of it. And high insulin is a fat storage signal. It tells your body to store rather than burn. And combined with everything else, it creates a metabolic environment that feels completely broken. So when a woman in her 40s says her metabolism is broken, she is not wrong. Something is off. But the breaking started in her 20s through years of restriction, chronic stress, lost sleep, muscle loss, and hormonal disruption. And here is the hope in all of this. Your metabolism is remarkably responsive to the right inputs: strength training, adequate protein, quality sleep, stress management, balanced blood sugar, thyroid support. These things can restore metabolic function at any age. It takes time, it takes consistency, but it absolutely happens. Your metabolism is not broken forever. It is waiting for you to give it what it actually needs. So now, my friends, let's talk about skin. And I'm going to start with a number that is going to change how you think about your skincare routine forever. Collagen production starts declining at approximately age 25. I know, stay with me, at a rate of about 1 to 1.5% per year, which means by the time you are 40, you will have lost somewhere between 50 and 20% of the collagen you had in your mid-20s. New collagen is not just a beauty buzzword. Collagen is the most abundant protein in your entire body. It is the structural framework that holds everything together. It gives your skin its firmness, its elasticity, and its plumpness. It cushions your joints, it strengthens your hair and your nails, and it is a critical component of what your gut lining. When collagen breaks down, you feel it everywhere, not just in your skin. So what accelerates collagen loss? Number one is sun damage, and this is not debatable. UV radiation is the number one external cause of skin aging. It breaks down collagen fibers directly and damages the DNA in your skin cells. And the sun damage you accumulate in your 20s, every day you went out without SPF, every summer of tanning, every vacation without protection shows on your face in your 40s as lines, as discoloration, as loss of elasticity and firmness. The damage was happening. You just could not see it yet. Number two is chronic inflammation, which we talked about in part 2. Systemic inflammation degrades collagen from the inside. It accelerates every aspect of skin aging, and it cannot be fixed with a topical cream. Number 3 is poor sleep. Your skin does the majority of its repair and regeneration while you sleep. Your body produces growth hormone during deep sleep, which drives cellular repair, including collagen synthesis. Consistently poor sleep in your 20s was aging your skin faster than almost anything else, and it shows up in your 40s. Number 4 is chronic dehydration. Low-grade dehydration affects skin plumpness, skin barrier function, and your skin's ability to repair itself. Most women are not drinking enough water. Most women have been mildly dehydrated for years, and your skin has been showing that. Number 5 is sugar. Through a process called glycation, where sugar molecules attach to collagen fibers and make them stiff and brittle, a high sugar diet literally hardens and ages your collagen from the inside. This process is irreversible once it happens. Prevention is everything. And number 6 is smoking, which destroys collagen, restricts blood flow to the skin, and ages skin dramatically faster than almost any other single habit. So the skin you have at 40 tells the story of your 20s. Not entirely, because topical skincare and lifestyle changes absolutely make meaningful difference at any age, but the foundation, the deep structural foundation of your skin was being laid in the decades before you got here. All right, so let's make this real and practical. Here's your action plan, whether you are 22 or 42. These are the things that will make the biggest difference for your bones, your muscles, your metabolism, and your skin. Number 1, start strength training now. Not someday, now. Twice a week minimum. Focus on compound movements, exercises that work multiple muscle groups at once. Squats, deadlifts, rows, presses, hip hinges. These movements build muscle efficiently, load your bones, support your metabolism, and improve your insulin sensitivity. If you have never lifted weights before, start with a beginner program or work with a trainer or even just a few sessions to learn proper form. Your future self will thank you more than you can possibly imagine. Number 2, my friends, eat enough protein. This is the single most common nutritional gap I see in women. We are chronically under-eating protein, and protein is the building block of muscles, of hormones, of collagen, of your gut lining, and of dozens of critical enzymes and neurotransmitters. Aim for at least 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight every single day. Eggs, chicken, fish, Greek yogurt, legumes, cottage cheese, quality protein powder. Prioritize protein at every single meal. Number 3, get enough calcium and vitamin D. Calcium-rich foods include dairy products, leafy green vegetables like kale and bok choy, sardines and canned salmon with bones, and fortified plant milks. And vitamin D, get your levels tested. A simple blood test. Deficiency is incredibly common and it has significant consequences for bone health, immune function, mood, hormonal balance, and even cancer risk. Most adults need somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000 IU of vitamin D3 daily. But get your levels tested so you know where you are starting from. Number 4, my friends, wear SPF every single day. Not just at the beach, not just in the summer, every single day on your face, your neck, your chest, and the backs of your hands. Rain or shine, winter or summer, the sun is affecting your skin every day, whether you feel it or not. SPF is the single most evidence-based anti-aging intervention that exists. It is not expensive, it is not complicated, and it is the gift you give your future skin every single morning. Number 5, stay consistently hydrated. Aim for approximately half your body weight in ounces of water every day. If you weigh 150 pounds, aim for 75 ounces of water daily. Add electrolytes if you are exercising or sweating heavily. Your skin, your joints, your gut, your metabolism, your brain, and your energy levels will all depend on adequate hydration. This is one of the most simple and most impactful things you can do for your body every single day. Number 6, stop yo-yo dieting and stop dieting completely. I know I have said this before, but it bears repeating because it is important. Every cycle of restriction and refeeding damages your metabolism, depletes your muscle mass, disrupts your hormones, and dysregulates your relationship with food. Choose nourishment over restriction. Choose consistency over perfection. Your body needs fuel. Give it enough. Give it well. And trust that a consistently nourished body is a healthier body than a perpetually restricted one. Number 7, prioritize sleep for your skin and your metabolism. Your skin regenerates between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. Your body produces the majority of its daily growth hormone, which drives cellular repair and muscle synthesis. During the first few hours of deep sleep, consistently missing quality sleep is aging you faster and slowing your metabolism more than almost any other single habit. Sleep is not lazy. Sleep is literally the time your body heals, rebuilds, and restores itself. So protect it. Okay, I want to take a moment before I wrap up today because I think this episode carries a lot of emotion for people. If you are listening to all of this and feeling some grief about choices you made in your 20s that you wish you could take back, I want to sit with you in that for a second. I hear you and I understand that feeling, but I also need you to hear this. You made the choices you made with the information you had, with the culture you were raised in, with the messages you were given about when a woman's body should look like and what it should do. You were not failing yourself in your 20s. You were doing the best you could with what you knew. And now you know more. And now you can do differently. Your body at 40 is not a closed chapter. It is not a final verdict. It is a living, breathing, remarkably adaptable system that is waiting for the right conditions to heal, rebuild, and thrive. Give it those conditions starting today. Now, next week, on Thursday, we're going to be, which is tomorrow, we are going to be wrapping up this series with episode 4. And I've been looking forward to this episode the most because we are going to the root of everything: your emotional health, your mindset, your inner world, and why the healing you do or do not do on the inside determines more about your health at 40 than almost anything we've talked about in this series. This one is going to be personal and it's going to be real, and it might be the episode that changes everything for you. Make sure you're subscribed so you do not miss it. And if this series has been speaking to you, share it. Leave a comment. Tell me what is landing for you. Tell me what you wish you had known. I genuinely love hearing from you, and I read every single comment. I will see you in episode 4, but before I actually say goodbye, if this resonated with you and you are tired of trying everything and still not feeling yourself, I want you to know there's a place for you. Come join me over on Patreon at Feel Better Daily. It is where I share daily habits for real energy, honest conversations about healing, natural tools I personally use in simple ways to build a life that actually feels good. Not overwhelmed, not perfection, just real talk about what actually works. The link is right below, and I would love to see you there. And real quick, one more thing I want to share with you that's part of my personal wellness routine every single day because I get asked about this all the time. The first is my Agar Cafe functional coffee. The ingredients are clean and they are actually doing something. It supports metabolism, mood, energy, and weight management. And it has honestly become part of my wellness medicine cabinet. I do not need a shelf full of supplements because this is doing so much of the work for me. My personal results have been more stable mood and energy, better pain management, and a metabolism that is actually working with me again. Not just the coffee, a wellness tool. And the second thing that's in my medicine cabinet are doTERRA essential oils. I do not use these as a trend. I use them as a real part of how I support my whole health system: physical, mental, and emotional. They are part of how I manage stress, support my body, and stay grounded every single day. Both of the links are right below in the description. Try what I use daily and let me know how it works for you. On that note, take care of your bones, your muscle, your metabolism, your skin, and most importantly, take care of yourself. Peace, love, and light all. Thank you for being here with you. I will see you tomorrow in the circle. Hello, everybody. This is Evolve Global 22's Healing Light Studio in our Healing Circle. Feel Better Daily. Welcome back. We made it to episode 4 this week. And before I get into today's episode, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for showing up for the entire series. Thank you for caring enough about yourself to sit with this information, to let it land, and to ask yourself the hard questions. That is not a small thing. That, my friends, takes courage. Now, if you are just finding this series today, please go back and start from episode 1. We have covered so much ground in this series, and today's episode builds on everything we've already talked about. You are going to want that foundation. But if you've been here with me from the beginning, you already know that we have talked about what changes in your body after 40. We have talked about hormones, gut health, inflammation. We've talked about bones, muscle, metabolism, and skin. And today we are going to the root of all of it. Today we are talking about the thing that underlies every single topic we have covered in this series. The thing that no supplement can fix, no skin care routine can address, and no workout plan can overcome. No diet in the world can heal. It is left unaddressed. We are talking about your emotional health, your inner world, the stories you've been telling yourself, the wounds you are still carrying, the relationships you've been tolerating, the stress you have been normalizing, the grief that you have never fully processed, the version of yourself you have been waiting for permission to become. Because here's what I know after 30 years of working with people and walking with my own healing journey. You do everything right on the outside. You can take all the right supplements, eat all the right foods, do all the right workouts, follow every piece of advice from every wellness expert on the internet. And if your inner world is in chaos, your body will reflect that chaos every single time. This is episode 4, the final episode of Wellness After 40, what your 20 self needed to hear. And I saved this one for last on purpose because this is the foundation. This is the root. This is the piece that changes everything else when you finally get it. Let's go deep. Are you ready? I want to do something. Sorry, days are long, my friends. I want you to do something with me for a moment. I want you to think back to your 20s. Close your eyes if you need to. Think about the relationships that drained you, the ones that took everything and gave back very little, the ones where you kept showing up and shrinking yourself to make someone else comfortable. Think about the jobs that stressed you out, the environments that were toxic, the places where you were undervalued, overlooked, or treated as less than you were. Think about the family dynamics that were heavy, the things that happened in your home growing up that you never fully dealt with, the patterns that played out again and again that you did not yet have the tools to change. Think about the financial pressure, the identity confusion, the loneliness that you maybe did not have even words for, the fear that lived underneath so much of your daily life. Think, my friends, about the times you pushed through things that were breaking you because you did not think you had another option, because you did not know how to ask for help, because asking for help felt like weakness, because you were taught to be strong and strong meant silent. Now, I need you to understand something. All of that stress, every single bit of it, had a real, measurable biological impact on your body. This is not a metaphor. This is not self-help language. This is physiology. When you experience chronic stress, your body activates what's called the fight or flight response. Your nervous system floods your body with cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart rate increases. Your digestion slows or shuts down. Your immune system is suppressed. Your reproductive hormones are disrupted. Your sleep is compromised. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for rational thinking, emotional regulation, and decision making, becomes less effective. When this stress response is activated occasionally for a real threat, a real emergency, your body handles it. You recover. But when it is activated chronically for months, for years, for decades, the damage accumulates in ways that eventually show up as physical illness. There's a body of research called the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study, the ACE study. And what it showed us clearly and undeniably is that childhood and young adult trauma dramatically increases the risk of chronic illness, heart disease, autoimmune conditions, cancer, mental health disorders, hormonal dysfunction, premature aging, and shortened life expectancy. The stress you carried in your 20s is not behind you, it is in you. It is living in your nervous system, in your gut, in your hormones, in your immune system, in your cells. And your body at 40, in many ways, the physical manifestation of the emotional experiences of your 20s and 30s. This is not meant to scare you. It is meant to help you understand what your body is actually asking for when it breaks down. Because it is not asking for another supplement. It is not asking for a stricter diet. It is asking for healing, real, deep, emotional healing. Now, I want to get really specific here because I think when we talk about the mind-body connection, it can sound abstract. It can sound like something soft and unscientific. It is not, my friends. The research on this is robust and has been growing for decades. Let me give you some specific examples of how unprocessed emotions show up in the physical body. Unprocessed grief tends to live in the chest and lungs. Many people who experience significant loss and who never really grieve it develop respiratory issues, tightness in the chest, a persistent heaviness in the body that never quite lifts, a feeling of constriction around the heart. Unprocessed anger tends to live in the liver, the jaw, the neck, the shoulders, and the gut. A woman especially have been socialized to suppress anger, to be pleasant, to be accommodating, to keep the peace no matter what it costs them. And that suppressed anger has to go somewhere. It does not just disappear, it goes inward. It turns into headaches, jaw tension, digestive problems, chronic muscle tension, and over time it contributes to autoimmune conditions where the body literally turns on itself. Unprocessed fears tends to live in the kidneys and the adrenal glands. Chronic anxiety, the kind that runs quietly in the background like a program that never closes, keeps your adrenals in a constant state of activation. And the adrenal fatigue that results is real. It is exhausting and it affects every system in your body. Unprocessed shame and unworthiness tend to live in the gut. The gut-brain connection is so powerful that emotional pain is felt viscerally, literally in your stomach and intestines. The nausea before a difficult conversation, the knot in your stomach when you feel judged, the digestive issues that flare up during periods of emotional stress. Your gut is your emotional processing center as much as your digestive one. And unprocessed trauma, whether it is big with a capital T trauma from major events or little small t trauma from chronic experiences of not being enough, not being safe, not being seen, not being loved the way you needed to be loved, that lives in the nervous system. It gets encoded in your body's threat detection system. It changes how you perceive danger. It changes how you relate to other people. It changes how you regulate your emotions, and it changes how your immune system, your hormonal system, and your inflammatory response function on a daily basis. Dr. Bessel van der Kolk wrote a landmark book called The Body Keeps the Score, and that title says absolutely everything. Your body keeps score. Every experience, every wound, every moment of joy, and every moment of pain. Every time you were held and every time you were abandoned. Every time you spoke your truth and every time you swallowed it. It is all in there. And by 40, if none of it has been addressed, the score is high and your body is ready to settle it, not to punish you, but to heal. I want to address something directly because I know there are people watching this who are skeptical of the mind-body connection, who have been taught that emotions and physical health are separate things, that real medicine is biological and everything else is just feelings. I understand that perspective. I was raised in systems that taught that too, but the science does not support it anymore. The field of psychoneuroimmunology, which is the study of the interaction between your psychological state, your nervous system, and your immune system, has given us decades of clear, peer-reviewed, replicable evidence that your thoughts, your emotions, and your beliefs have direct and measurable effects on your physical health. Let me give you some of the research that I find most compelling. Chronic loneliness and social isolation have been shown to carry the same mortality risk as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Not metaphorically, statistically, loneliness kills, and yet we live in one of the loneliest cultures in human history. Gratitude practices, genuinely cultivating a sense of appreciation and positive connection, has measurable positive effects on immune function, cardiovascular health, sleep quality, and longevity, not because it feels nice, but because it changes your biology. Mindfulness meditation has been shown through neuroimaging studies to literally change the physical structure of your brain. It increases gray matter density in the prefrontal cortex, the area associated with emotional regulation, rational decision making, and compassion. It reduces the size and reactivity of the amygdala, your brain's fear and threat detection center. These are structured changes visible in a brain scan. Purpose. Having a clear sense of meaning and reason to get up in the morning is one of the strongest predictions of healthy aging across every culture and population that has been studied. People with a strong sense of purpose live longer, have lower rates of chronic disease, recover faster from illness, and maintain cognitive function longer. And the research on social connection as medicine is overwhelming. Strong, reciprocal, honest relationships are one of the most powerful predictors of health and longevity, and we have ever identified. More powerful than diet, more powerful than exercise, more powerful than almost any medical intervention. This is not soft science. This is hard biology. Your inner world is running your body. Full stop. I want to paint a picture because I have spent decades working with women, walking alongside women in their healing, watching what happens when women do the inner work and watching what happens when they do not. And the difference is undeniable. There are women who arrive at 40 feeling vital, energized, clear, grounded, comfortable in their bodies, at peace with who they are and where they are going, excited, genuinely excited about what the second half of their life holds. Women who look in the mirror and feel something other than disappointment. Women who have relationships that feel safe and reciprocal and life-giving. Women who know who they are, what they value, and what they are not willing to compromise on anymore. And there are women who arrive at 40 feeling depleted, disconnected, inflamed, hormonally chaotic, emotionally exhausted from decades of giving more than they received, grieving the body they feel they have lost, grieving the years they feel were taken from them, disconnected from themselves in ways they cannot quite name but feel deeply every single day. The difference between these two groups of women is not luck. It is not primarily genetics. It is not primarily money or access or privilege, though those things matter. The most significant difference, the one I have watched play over and over and over again, is what they did with their inner world in their 20s and 30s. The women who thrive at 40 got into therapy or coaching early, before crisis forced them to. They did not wait until they were broken to ask for help. They invested in their inner world proactively. They understood that understanding themselves was not a luxury, it was a foundation. They set boundaries in their relationships, in their careers, in their families. They learned, sometimes painfully, that it is possible to disappoint people and survive, that their worth was not determined by how much they could give or how little space they took up. They built their lives around their values and instead of around everyone else's expectations of them. They built meaningful community. They invested in friendships that were mutual, honest, and consistent. They showed up for their people and they allowed their people to show up for them. They did not wait until they were lonely and desperate for connection to start building it. They developed a practice that brought them home to themselves, whether through prayer, through meditation, through nature, through journaling, through creative expression, through their faith community. They had a way of accessing something deeper than their circumstances, a way of coming back to themselves when life pulled them off center. They processed their grief and their trauma, not all at once, not perfectly, but consistently and courageously. They chose to face their wounds rather than run from them, numb them, or project them onto everyone around them. And in doing so, they stopped letting those wounds run their lives from the background. And they gave themselves permission to grow, to change, to outgrow situations and relationships and versions of themselves that no longer fit. They did not stay back or stay stuck out of fear or obligation or because change felt like too much. They kept becoming. This is what thriving at 40 looks like on the inside. And I want that for you. I want that so much for every single woman watching this. So here's the roadmap, your gift to yourself. The things I wish someone had told me when I was young enough to build them into the foundation of my life. Number one, get into therapy or coaching now. Do not do this alone. We have a community on Patreon. I'm here for you. But reach out and get the help that you need and the support. Not when you're in crisis, not when your marriage is falling apart or your health is breaking down or your anxiety is so bad you cannot function. Now, while you have bandwidth, while things are manageable, while you can do the deep work proactively instead of reactively. Therapy and coaching and getting support is not a sign of weakness. It is one of the most intelligent, courageous, and high return investments you will ever make in your health, in your relationships, in your career, in your sense of self, in the generational patterns you will or will not pass on to your children. Find a good quality therapist or coach or support system. Do the work. It will change your life in ways you cannot yet imagine. Number two, my friends, learn to feel your feelings, all of them: anger, grief, fear, shame, loneliness, disappointment, joy, excitement, love, all of it. Learn to identify what you are feeling. Learn to notice where you feel it in your body. Learn to move through your emotions instead of around them, without numbing them with food or alcohol or scrolling or staying perpetually busy, without bypassing them with toxic positivity, without projecting them onto the people around you. Emotional literacy is a skill. It is learnable, and it is one of the most life-changing skills you will ever develop. The woman who can feel their feelings fully and move through them, those women are free in a way that women who suppress and bypass simply are not. Number three, set boundaries early and consistently. The relationships and environments you allow in your 20s will shape the health of your nervous system for decades. Be honest with yourself about what is draining you, what is depleting you, what is asking you to be smaller or quieter or less than you actually are. And learn to say no. Learn to communicate your needs clearly without apology. Learn that you are allowed to take up space, that your needs matter, that disappointing someone is survivable, that the right relationships, the ones worth having, will not require you to abandon yourself to maintain them. Number four, build your community intentionally. Loneliness is a health crisis, and it is a quiet one. You can be surrounded by people and still feel profoundly lonely. The antidote is not more people. It is deeper, more honest, more reciprocal connection with the right people. Invest in friendships that go below the surface. Show up consistently. Be the kind of friend you want to have. Let people see the real you, not just the curated, performing everything in fine version. Allow yourself to be known and allow yourself to know others. Build the kind of community in your 20s that you want to be held by in your 40s and your 50s and beyond. Number five, develop a practice that brings you home to yourself. In a world that is constantly pulling your attention outward towards screens, towards noise, toward other people's opinions and expectations and demands. You need a practice that brings you back to yourself regularly and reliably. Journaling, meditation, prayer, breath work, walking in nature, creative expression, sitting in silence, whatever it is, find it. Do it daily if you can, even for 5 minutes, because the woman who knows herself, who has a deep practice relationship with her own inner world, that woman is not easily shaken. She knows what she values, she knows what she needs, she knows who she is beneath all the roles and the noise, and she can come back to that knowing no matter what life throws at her. Number 6, decide who you want to be and start becoming her now. Do not wait until 40 to start living intentionally. Do not wait until burnout forces you to reassess everything. Do not wait until your body breaks down or your relationships fall apart or a crisis strips away everything that was not real before you ask yourself, before you ask yourself, what kind of life do I actually want to be living? Start asking that question now. Start making choices that are aligned with the woman you want to become. Start investing in your health, your relationships, your healing, and your growth before you desperately need to. Start choosing yourself, not instead of the people you love, but alongside them, because taking care of yourself is not selfish. It is how you show up fully for everyone and everything that matters to you. The woman you want to be at 40 is being built right now in every choice you make, in every boundary you set or do not set, in every relationship you invest in or walk away from, in every moment you choose yourself or abandon yourself, in every time you ask for help or suffer in silence, in every time you process your pain or bury it deeper. She is built right now. Build her well, my friends. We have come so far together in this series. In episode 1, we talked about what actually changes after 40 and why it starts in your 20s. Why the body you are living in right now is a result of decades of buildup, not a sudden betrayal. In episode 2, we went deep into hormones, gut health, and inflammation, the silent shifts that begin long before you feel them and that drive so much of what women in their 40s struggle with every single day. In episode 3, we talked about bones, muscle, metabolism, and skin, the physical structures of your body that were built or broken down by the choices of your 20s. And today we went to the root, the emotional body, the inner world, the part of you that is running everything else, whether you are aware of it or not. Here is what I want you to take away from all of it. You are not a passive recipient of aging. You are not at the mercy of your genetics or your past choices that you made before you knew better. You are an active participant in your own health, in your own healing, in your own becoming. And whether you are 22 or 42 or somewhere between, it is not too late to make choices that your future self will deeply be grateful for. Your body wants to heal. Your nervous system wants to regulate. Your hormones want to balance. Your gut wants to be restored. Your emotions want to be felt and processed and released. Your soul wants to be expressed fully and freely. Give yourself permission to begin. Not when everything is perfect, not when you have more time or more money or more energy or more courage. Now, my friends, with what you have, where you are, as you are. Because the most powerful thing you can do for your health at any age is to decide that you are worth taking care of it. And you are. You absolutely are. If this series has meant something to you, please share it with your daughter, your sister, your best friend, your colleague, the woman in her 20s who has no idea what her body is building right now and deserves to know. The woman in her 40s who has been struggling and wondering what is wrong with her and deserves to finally understand. The information belongs to all of us. Share it like it does. Leave me a comment and tell me which episode in this series hit you the hardest. Which moment made you stop and think? Which piece of information are you going to take into your life starting today? I genuinely want to know. I read every single comment, and your words matter to me. Subscribe if you have not already, because we have so much more coming. This is just the beginning of what we are building here together. And from the very bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for trusting me with your time and your attention. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Thank you for caring about your health, your healing, and your life. This is not ordinary. That is everything. I will see you in the next series in our healing circle next week. Remember, I do a full replay of the healing circle episodes all in one video format, and it streams on Friday. But remember, take care of your whole self, my friends, body, mind, emotions, and spirit, all of it. You deserve to thrive, not just survive, not just get through, but truly, fully, beautifully thrive. I believe that for you. Now start believing it yourself. And before I actually close, if this resonated with you, join us on Patreon. You don't have to do this alone. And then, really quick, I want to share what I use in my medicine cabinet: Agara Cafe, a functional coffee, and doTERRA essential oils. I say this at the end of almost every video, and it's in the description and in first comment. Start building your medicine cabinet today. Start with Agara Cafe and some essential oils from doTERRA. The links are in the description and the first comment. On that note, my friends, peace, love, and light. I will see you next week in the circle.